Welcome to the land of sweet tea, Spanish moss, and stunning low-country sunsets. South Carolina promises palmetto-lined beaches and affordable southern living. At least that is what the tourism board wants you to believe. In reality, this state ranked 44th out of 50 in WalletHub's Best Places to Live report. The violent crime rate sits at 540 per 100,000 people, nearly 40% above the national average. South Carolina holds the third highest murder rate and the sixth highest assault rate in the entire country. We are talking towns where violent crime exceeds the state average by over 400%. Cities where nearly 4 in 10 families live below the poverty line. And coastal communities where your insurance renewal letter looks more like a ransom note. We are counting down the 12 absolute worst places to live in South Carolina. But stick around because we are also revealing 3 hidden gems where life is genuinely good. Before we dive in, if you find this helpful, tap that subscribe button. You will not want to miss what is coming next. 12. Walterboro. We begin our countdown in Colleton County with a small historic town that sits at the crossroads of Interstate 95. Walterboro has a population of just 5,465 people, but it packs in crime numbers that belong to a city 10 times its size. The rate of violent crime here stands at 87 incidents per 1,000 residents. That is not a typo. Property crime pushes those figures even higher, with over 5,300 incidents per 100,000 people. Walk through the center of town and you will see boarded-up shop fronts beside charming antebellum homes. The highway brings through traffic and trouble in equal measure. Drug activity and theft corridors linked to that Interstate 95 access create problems a small-town police force simply cannot contain. Housing is cheap here. But when your garden shed gets broken into for the 3rd time in a year, you start to understand that cheap and affordable are not the same thing. 11. Lancaster. Head north to the South Carolina side of the Charlotte border, and you will find Lancaster. With a population of 9,305, this town sits close enough to North Carolina's biggest city to taste the prosperity. But prosperity has not crossed the state line. Lancaster posts a violent crime rate of 1,063 per 100,000 residents, making it the 11th most dangerous city in South Carolina. Property crime is where Lancaster truly suffers. At 6,179 incidents per 100,000, it holds the 4th highest property crime rate in the entire state. 4 murders were recorded in the latest reporting year. New housing developments spring up on one side of town, while legacy neighborhoods crumble on the other. Charlotte commuters drive through every morning, windows up, past problems they never have to face. 10. Hartsville. Hartsville has held on to its position as one of South Carolina's most dangerous places for yet another year. This Darlington County town of 7,559 residents ranks 3rd in the state for violent crime. More than 1,746 violent crimes per 100,000 people were reported. That translates to nearly 5 crimes per day. The violent crime rate sits 300% higher than the South Carolina average. While Hartsville did not record a single murder in 2024, the day-to-day reality remains grim. There are about 2 burglaries a week, roughly 10 thefts a week. Walk through the residential streets on a Saturday morning and notice how many front windows have security bars. Talk to the neighbors and they will tell you about the frustration of watching crime statistics refuse to budge despite years of community effort. Hartsville is a town that tries. The numbers simply refuse to cooperate. 9. Union. If you want to understand what happens when the textile mills close and nothing replaces them, drive to Union. This former manufacturing hub of 7,795 people now holds the highest overall crime rate per capita in all of South Carolina. 92 crimes per 1,000 residents. Union residents had a 1 in 15 chance of being the victim of a property crime in 2024. Walk through the Old Mill District and you will see rusted gates, empty car parks, and weeds pushing through concrete where hundreds of workers once clocked in every morning. The violent crime rate reaches 974 per 100,000. Property crime sits at 6,555, second highest in the state. The jobs left decades ago. The problem stayed. And with a tax base that shrinks every year, the resources to fight back grow thinner and thinner. Number 8. Lake City. Lake City has tried something different. This Florence County town of 5,937 people invested in art. The Art Fields Festival brings murals, sculptures, and creative energy to a downtown that desperately needs it. But art cannot stop aggravated assault. Lake City posts the second highest violent crime rate in South Carolina, at 1,802 per 100,000 people. Residents face a 1 in 55 chance of being the victim of a violent attack in any given year. Walk past those beautiful murals on Main Street, turn 2 blocks in any direction, and the contrast between the painted walls and the boarded windows tells you everything about a town fighting for its identity with one hand tied behind its back. 7. Chester. Chester breaks your heart? This was once a proud textile town where families built entire lives around the mill. Workers walked to their shifts. Children attended the local school. Grandparents retired on modest but reliable pensions. Those mills are gone now, and Chester holds the highest violent crime rate of any city in South Carolina, 2,566 per 100,000. The assault rate alone reaches 1,285 per 100,000. Your chance of being a victim of crime here is 1 in 21. One resident described a lifetime of watching crime increase, the death rate increase, and success decrease. They called for better schools and more employment. Others have warned the town is heading toward becoming a wasteland. Chester has history and architecture and people who care deeply about their community. But caring does not pay for police officers, and pride does not fix crumbling infrastructure. If you want to avoid ending up in a place the statistics suggest you should probably avoid, hit the subscribe button. I post these breakdowns every week, with real numbers and honest assessments. So your next move is not into an area where the main local industry appears to be burglary. 6. Spartanburg. Spartanburg is the entry that will confuse you. This city appears on best places to retire lists and most dangerous cities lists at the same time. The crime rate here sits at 81 incidents per 1,000 people. The violent crime rate reaches 1,480 per 100,000, which is 239% above the South Carolina average. More than one burglary a day occurs on average, giving the city the 4th highest burglary rate in the state. 580 violent crimes were recorded in 2024 alone. Downtown Spartanburg has craft breweries, farm-to-table restaurants, and a growing arts scene. Drive 10 minutes from that revitalized center and you will find neighborhoods where front doors have 3 locks and porch lights stay on all night. The city is growing faster than its safety infrastructure can handle. 5. Florence. Florence should be thriving. It is the largest city in the PD region with a population of 39,899. It has a regional medical center, a university presence, and sits at the intersection of 2 major interstate highways. Instead, it posts a crime rate of 7,648 per 100,000 people, which is 226% higher than the national average. Residents face a roughly 1 in 14 chance of becoming the victim of any type of crime. In the most recent reporting year, there were 5 murders, 42 robberies, 455 assaults, and 235 burglaries. Walk through downtown Florence on a weekday afternoon and you will see half-empty car parks beside buildings with for lease signs that have been up so long the paper has yellowed. Some sources list Florence as a good retirement destination for its affordability. The data tells a very different story. 4. North Charleston. North Charleston lives permanently in the shadow of its famous neighbor. Historic Charleston gets the tourism brochures, the Food Network features, and the destination wedding bookings. North Charleston gets the crime statistics. With a population of 106,113, this is South Carolina's third largest city. The crime rate sits at 6,249 per 100,000 people. That is 166% above the national average. Residents face a 1 in 17 chance of becoming the victim of any crime. In 2021 alone, 35 murders were recorded. Robbery, assault, and motor vehicle theft dominate the daily police reports. Gang-related activities and economic inequality are the driving forces. Meanwhile, just a few miles south, Charleston posts some of the lowest property crime numbers in the entire state. The distance between these two cities can be measured in minutes. The distance between their realities can be measured in generations of underinvestment. 3. Myrtle Beach. Now we reach the entry that will generate the most debate. Myrtle Beach is where millions of families spend their summer holidays. It is also the most dangerous city in South Carolina by overall crime rate. The numbers sit 330% above the national average. Residents had a 1 in 17 chance of having their property stolen or damaged in 2024. But crime is only half the story. Homeowners insurance in coastal South Carolina has become the fastest rising expense on any household budget, with average annual premiums climbing 20 to 35% since 2023. Flood insurance adds another $2,000 to $6,000 annually per home. The 2025 FEMA flood map updates quietly reclassified parts of the Grand Strand, pushing more properties into high-risk zones. South Carolina has over 316,000 properties facing severe flood risk over the next 30 years. Stand on the boardwalk at sunset and Myrtle Beach looks like paradise. Read the insurance renewal letter that arrives in January, and paradise starts to feel like a very expensive gamble. Service workers are getting priced out. Restaurants display help-wanted signs that never come down. Homelessness rises as low-income residents cannot cover the rent increases. Myrtle Beach works brilliantly if you arrive with substantial savings and a remote job. For everyone else, the math increasingly does not work. Number 2, Orangeburg. Orangeburg County ranked first with the highest violent crime rate in all of South Carolina in 2023. The city itself posts a crime rate of 7,871 per 100,000, which is 241% above the national average. The poverty rate sits at 31.5%. But what makes Orangeburg especially concerning for retirees is healthcare. Approximately 13% of residents lack health insurance. There is roughly one physician for every 1,900 residents. If you have a medical emergency in Orangeburg, the closest adequate care may not be close enough. The 29115 zip code has been marginalized for generations. What was once a vibrant community with parades and cookouts that brought everyone together has become somewhere older residents no longer feel safe walking to the shops. Peripheral crimes connected to drug activity include burglaries, armed robberies, and shootings. At one point, a serial arsonist burned down more than 30 abandoned homes in the area. 2 historically black universities, South Carolina State and Claflin, provide educational anchors and genuine hope. People here are fighting for their community every single day, but the combination of crime, poverty, and dangerously thin healthcare infrastructure makes Orangeburg a place where retirement could become genuinely risky. 1. Dillon. We arrive at the undisputed holder of South Carolina's most troubling distinction. After analyzing 61 cities across the state using the most recent FBI data, Dillon takes the top spot as the most dangerous city in South Carolina. The violent crime rate reaches 2,372 per 100,000 people. That sits 443% above the South Carolina average. Your chance of being the victim of a violent crime is 1 in 39. The assault rate alone reaches 2,260 per 100,000. The median household income is $34,964, with a poverty rate of 38.58%. Dillon County holds the highest poverty rate in the entire state, and the city is shrinking. The projected population for 2025 is 6,188, declining at nearly 1% per year. Young people leave, businesses close. The police force trying to hold things together consists of just 19 officers serving a city where violent crime exceeds the state average by over 400%. Walk through downtown Dillon on a Tuesday afternoon and count the empty storefronts. Count the faded help wanted signs in the windows of the few businesses that remain. Then count the police cars and realize you have seen them all. The people of Dillon are not statistics. They are families raising children, grandparents tending gardens, and neighbors looking out for each other in a community that has been failed by decades of economic neglect. They deserve better than these numbers. But until investment arrives, until opportunities return, Dillon remains the most dangerous place to live in South Carolina by virtually any measure. But South Carolina is not all doom and statistics. There are corners of this state where life is genuinely good, where crime is low, communities thrive, and your retirement savings actually stretch. Starting with number 3, Bluffton. Tucked along the May River near Hilton Head, Bluffton blends coastal beauty with small-town warmth. Moss-draped oaks line quiet streets. Marsh views stretch out from back porches. Sunrises over the river make every morning feel earned. It made Southern Living's list of best places to retire in the South, and the residents will tell you that honor is well-deserved. The cost of living sits well below Hilton Head, but the low-country charm is identical. Art galleries, seafood festivals, and a historic district that feels like stepping back 50 years in the best possible way. Number 2, Somerville. Nicknamed the birthplace of sweet tea, Somerville has a population of around 50,000 and captures the essence of Southern charm. Azaleas line the streets in spring. The tea heritage goes back centuries. It sits close enough to Charleston to enjoy the restaurants and culture, but far enough to avoid the traffic and the crime. Healthcare facilities are strong. The retiree community is established and welcoming. Housing remains affordable compared to Charleston proper. This is a suburb with genuine soul. And our number 1 best place to live in South Carolina, Lexington. This town near Columbia reported a violent crime rate of just 16 per 100,000 residents, after cutting that number by 31% from the year before. Lexington also leads the entire state in property crime prevention, with only 92 crimes per 100,000, a 21% decrease year over year. Proactive policing and strong community outreach get the credit. The median home value sits around $300,000. The recently revitalized downtown includes the Ice House Amphitheater, a 900-seat open-air venue where families gather on warm evenings. Lexington is proof that good policing, smart growth, and genuine community investment can make a place not just safe, but genuinely wonderful to live in. And if you like the video, please subscribe. Make sure to watch the next video appearing on your screen right now.